Okay, we need to join all our parts together. To do that, we're going to use, to assemble them, we're going to use what's called joints. Before we do any of that, what we have to do, over here in our browser, these are all our bodies, and you can see as I hover over each one it's highlighted. We actually have to convert those to components rather than bodies. So at this top level menu, right click and simply click create components from bodies, and there they are. Now we're ready to use joints. The only thing we're going to do first is this base piece, which should be, if you hover over it or click on it, it highlights this piece. We're going to right click and ground it. It'll put a pin icon there. That means that's fixed to the ground, it won't move. And that's what we want. Now we're ready to assemble. So under assemble is this option called joint, or the J tool. We're going to click that. Okay, component 1 is always the piece that will move to component 2. That might sound a little bit confusing, but it'll make sense once we get going. So component 1, we're going to start with these ones because these are going to be the easiest ones. And as you hover over it with the joint tool selected, notice we get this strange little circle with a half circle in it. That's going to reference certain points on here. So we want this bottom edge, the midpoint, to match up with the midpoint of the base. So we're going to, once we got that bottom edge and that midpoint, we're going to click that. That actually hides that one, so we can't see it, and it's jumped over to component 2, and we want to match it against this edge. Don't make the mistake of clicking on this bottom edge. That's the wrong place, but it's got to be that top edge. And click, and the piece will move over there, and it should fit in place. If it doesn't, mine does, but if it doesn't, there's a couple of things we can do. We can either flip it, or maybe you need to rotate this part, or maybe you've got to do both until it's sitting in the right place. It should be sitting on top, not inside the other piece. The joint type should be set to rigid. Make sure it's not anything else. All these should be at 0. Animate just means it'll shake, so we don't want that. That's annoying. And click OK. We've just set that joint in place. Yes, it is going through those, but that's just temporary. Right, let's do the same for this one. Can start going a little bit quicker now. Joint, and we want to this middle edge with the middle of that edge. Yes, it's in the right place. Click OK. We want to join these pieces in the middle of that edge. So again, joint. Click this edge with that edge. Oh, what have I done? Flip. Flip's not going to help me, and that's not going to help me. Okay, let's cancel. Actually, let's deselect, deselect, select. Let's do that again. I know what I did. So, see how that circle's flat? If it's flat there, I've got to make sure it's flat here. See, it's not. So what I do, I'll actually zoom in. If I see how it goes flat there in the middle, but that's in the wrong place. So if I hold down Control and then hit that midpoint, it kind of sits in a weird position. Why has it done that? 190 degrees. Let's change that to 0. That's nearly there. Flip. Oh my goodness. That looks better. Yes, that's sitting in the right place. Now that actually looks like it's overlapping here, so I might have made a mistake earlier. Let's click it. I sure have. I've made that piece at 250 instead of 242. Let's edit that. How am I going to do that? Let's go back in the timeline and find that part. There it is, it's highlighted. It's probably that sketch. Let's double click that sketch. Ah yeah, look, that should be 242. 242. Press enter. If I click stop sketch, everything should update, and now it looks correct. Alright, let's go again. Joint. Middle edge. Middle edge. That's correct. Click OK. Let's do these end pieces. Joint. For these, I think it's going to be easier. Yeah, so I'm going to hold down Control and make sure on this face, make sure we get up that edge there. Click. Do the same thing here. Hold down Control and click here. Looks like I'll have to do some flipping and rotating. I'll just simply rotate. Make sure it's 180 degrees. And click OK. Let's do the same here. Joint. Hold down Control. The middle of that edge. And make sure I rotate so I can see that. Hold down Control. Middle of that edge. That one looks right. And click OK. Lastly, let's put the handle in place. So again, it's another joint. Yep, middle of that circle. And we need to get to the middle of this circle. Now, if you can't get there, again, hover the mouse on the flat surface, hold down Control on the keyboard, and click, and that will place it in there. Let's flip it. That looks better. Click OK. There's our carry tray all assembled. Each of these is a joint. That kind of makes it look a little bit ugly. So if we took the click on the light, that'll just hide those joints. They're still there, but they're just hidden. That just makes them visible or hidden.